guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm gonna be doing my May wrap up. I know, you don't have to tell me, I know. Listen, for the months of May and June, they were like the most busiest, chaotic months of the year so far. And this video might be long, but I'm gonna try and keep it short. I also think it's gonna be short because I read these books in May and we're already in June. We're literally on the last couple of days of June. So there will be a June wrap up, which will be exactly like this video. I usually do my wrap ups in two parts. I do my mid-month wrap up, all the books that I read from the 1st to the 15th, 16th, some months, and then I do my overall wrap up at the end of the month for the books that I read from the 15th, 16th through the end of that month. But for May, I forgot. I lost track of time. I didn't get to do a mid-month wrap up, and I also didn't get to do a overall May wrap up. So this is what this video is gonna be. So let's just get right into it because I did read quite a few books in May. First book that I read in May was Dad Bod Fixer by Fern Fraser. I believe I had found this novella because I had been looking at some of Cassie Mint's novellas, and I think this one was part of a overall series that a lot of authors were contributing to. This one I gave 3 stars to. I enjoyed it. Can't remember anything about this book. But if you're looking for a novella, here's a rec. Then I have Dad Bod Cowboy by Kat Baxter. I gave this one 3 stars as well. I believe this one is about a superstar heroine and she wants to film her music video at this ranch and the hero is the owner. It kind of causes a situation, insta love, insta lust. You guys know how it goes with novellas, but I really liked this one. Hopefully that was correct because otherwise then I have no idea what this was about. Moving on, third book that I read was Dad Bod Undercover Boss. I gave that one 3 stars. Then I read Dad Bod Rebel. I gave that one 3 stars as well. Then I ended up picking up Her Mountain Man Savior by Gia Bailey. I gave this one 3 stars. I had a whole novella binge. I'm pretty sure these are all from the Dad Bod series. So if you guys are looking for novellas with heroes with dad bod, there you go. Then I ended up picking up Forget Me Not by QB Tyler. This is about our heroine Olivia and our hero Bennett. I was really iffy going into this one just because with QB Tyler it's very hit or miss for me. I overall like enjoy all of her books. Some just give me the ick more than others. With this one, I was kind of iffy. This one is her least taboo one, but it does have the cheating trope. It doesn't happen on page. We are told that our hero Bennett cheats on our heroine Olivia. Basically, our hero, he gets into a car accident and he still has Olivia as his primary caretaker. So she ends up getting called. She goes to the hospital and we come to find out that our hero has amnesia. He has forgotten the last 2 years of his life. So he doesn't know that he's in the middle of a divorce, or are they already divorced? I don't know. I think they're in the middle of it. They're in the middle of a divorce. He is currently staying with the woman that he cheated on Olivia with, and they just haven't gone through all, he like just forgot all the shitty parts of why they had decided to file for divorce, essentially. I gave this book 4.5 stars. I absolutely loved this book. I really enjoyed it. I was in it. I was in it for this relationship. It is a marriage in trouble, forced proximity because she ends up having to take care of Bennett at her home just because that is what he remembers. He only remembers being madly in love with his wife, and he is doing everything possible to win her over. And you guys know how I feel about groveling. It was so good. The smut was top tier. It was absolutely amazing. The reason why this one didn't get full 5 stars was because I had to have a point for that ending. I did think the ending wrapped up way too quickly. Yeah, like it just wrapped up way too quickly. I feel like we could have had a better pacing. Like I loved everything about the book, but then like we have a couple pages where they kind of resolve some issues and then she like kind of forgives him and then they're happily ever after. I wish there would have been a little bit more of an open communication with them towards the end. I wish it would have maybe been dragged out a little bit and that we would have gotten like an epilogue that had them like 5 years, 10 years in the future, you know? It was so good though. Like it was everything that I had wanted, and it is currently my favorite book by QB Tyler. This has put me in the mood to read more of her books. Like I said, it is her least taboo one though, so we'll see how the other ones go, but I'm excited to check them out. Next book that I read was I'll Be Your Beast by J.L. Beck. I gave this one 2.5 stars. I might have rounded it up to a 3. I don't know. This one is like a monster novella. Yeah. I can't really tell you much about it because I forgot, but it was like a smutty monster paranormal romance. I read I'll Be Your Wolf by Darcy Rose. That one I gave 2.5 stars as well. I believe I gave them 2.5 stars because they were enjoyable to a point. Like, they were just so bizarre. Like J.L. Beck, Darcy Rose, their writing is like over the top. Like, it's giving Jessica Kane, but I think I like Jessica Kane better. Yeah. Then I ended up picking up Mr. Alpha, but I ended up DNFing that. I tried reading it. I don't know how far I got, but it's on the list. Then I read His Ballerina by J.L. Beck. I gave this one 3 stars. I was really trying to love something by J.L. Beck. I really was. This one is about our hero. He is killing someone in an alley, and our heroine runs into him on her way home, and he instantly gets obsessed. And it's very insta-love, insta-lust. Then I read Fractured Souls by Neva Altaj. Our heroine Aza and our hero Pasha. I gave this one 3.5 stars, rounded up to a 4. I do have a reading vlog where I read this book, so if you guys want to hear more of my more in-depth thoughts, then I will link it up here in the cards for you guys. Then I also read Confess by Isabella Starling, and this one is in that mafia romance reading vlog as well. I will leave you with that. That one was bonkers. I literally went into so much depth about this one novella, so definitely check out that reading vlog. Then I read The Chase by Elle Kennedy. This one I gave it 3.5 stars. I really wanted to love this one. I feel like I loved both our characters. I cannot for the life of me remember their names. I want to say the heroine was Hannah, but that could be totally wrong. And then I want to say our hero's name, I'm like 99.9% positive it's Fitz. So this is Fitz's story. This is the spin-off of the Off-Campus series, and we have met Fitz in those previous books, but this is his romance now in this spin-off. And honestly, I truly loved Fitz, and I truly loved Hannah as well. I just think the direction that the story took, it just felt very long to me. They had a lot of back and forth. Like, they weren't together, I feel like, officially for a majority of the book, and I was just kind of like, when are they gonna get together? Like, when is this gonna blow up, you know? Like I said, 3.5 stars. I did enjoy it, but I did have to round it down to a 3. I didn't absolutely love it. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more. The smutty scenes were really good, and I'm happy that Fitz and possibly Hannah got their HEA. I just was expecting more from it. I heard the second one, which is, actually I can't remember, but I did hear that the second one in this spin-off series is the best one, and I feel like it's an enemies to lovers. I honestly need to get back into that. I ended up reading Reckless Air by Jenica Snow. This one I gave 4 stars to. This is in my Mafia romance reading vlog, so make sure you check that out. I read some good ones. Then I ended up DNFing Savage Beginnings by J.L. Beck. I just didn't care. I made it to the 20% mark, and I was just like, this is just not for me. I also read Primal by Jenica Snow. This one I gave 3.5 stars. This one is just a fun, good old time. I believe this is the one with the 3 bears. It's like a Goldilocks retelling. I don't want to say retelling, but it's inspired by, I guess. Yeah, and I just really enjoyed it. I love Jenica Snow. I love her smuts. I love her writing. I just know that every time I pick up one of her books, I'm going to have a good time. Then I ended up reading Devil of Dublin by B.B. Easton. This one I gave it 3.5 stars. I believe I read this one in that Mafia romance reading vlog as well, so definitely go check it out. I think it's one of my longer vlogs. I read quite a few in that one, but I think that's the last one in this wrap up that is in that reading vlog. Moving on, then I read Bad Guy by Ruby Dixon. I gave this one 4.5 stars, rounded it down to a 4. This is a cute little novella. Our hero, he is a orc, and he gets captured so he could go into like these fighting rings system, and our heroine is actually technically, honestly, a slave on this planet. She is owned by this monster, and they just kind of connect. I'm doing such a bad job. It was really good. Like, the whole time I was reading it, I was having a good time. The smut was really good. I loved the relationship. I loved the way they grew together and how they also grew apart. And I just absolutely loved it. It was very sweet. It was just so good. It was such a good one by Ruby Dixon, and I need to get into more of her things because I enjoy literally all her books. Then I read Mother's Day In by Lee Jiku. I gave this one 4 stars. It wasn't my favorite. I don't know what it was about it that it wasn't my favorite, because I feel like all of Lee Jiku's novellas, I give them 5 stars, but this one just didn't hit. It might have been the mindset that I was in. I don't know. But I still loved it. I love all her novellas, but this one just didn't reach that 5-star for me. But I gave it 4 stars. It is about, our heroine is the older woman. She has a daughter, and our hero is the younger man, and he is a lifeguard, and he is very close with the daughter because he taught her how to swim. And eventually our hero is absolutely obsessed with our heroine, and he puts it into motion where they are gonna have some time together. She takes a retreat at this B&B that his family owns, and he just wins her over, and it's smutty. There's a lot of kinky things in here. It is so good. Then I ended up reading Violent Delights by Jessica Hawkins. This was actually a reread for me. This one was 5 stars. It will always be 5 stars. This whole trilogy is 5 stars. I did read the whole trilogy this month, so I might as well just talk about all of them here. I ended up reading Violent Delight because I was not having a good time with the previous books that I had been reading, and I wanted to read something that I knew that I was going to enjoy. And it had also been a really long time since I had picked up this trilogy, and I figured, let me see if I still love it as much as I did, and I do. I love that trilogy so much. So basically we have our heroine. She is the cartel princess, and I always struggle how to explain this trilogy because I don't want to give anything away, but basically she has always been very close to these 2 brothers, and she has always been protected by the oldest one, and she's always been best friends with the youngest one. We have the younger brother Diego, and we have the older brother Cristiano. Cristiano is blamed for our heroine Natalia's mother's death, and he ends up running away, and this whole time, all of these years, the blame has been put on him, and she ends up growing and falling in love with Diego. They have been best friends since childhood, and she is completely infatuated with him, and she doesn't want to be part of the cartel, but Diego is so into it, so she comes back and spending time with him, and this is where Cristiano comes back to clear his name and take what was rightfully his. Whether that's Natalia or not, read it to find out. That was such a poor description, but read it. I promise you, you will binge this series. It is so good. It is so angsty. The chemistry, the passion, it is cartel mafia. I don't see that done very often, and I feel like Jessica Hawkins did such an amazing job. I loved the culture. I loved the Spanish, and you know what? I love a hero who can flip back and forth. And I loved it so much. And it will always be one of my top trilogies of all time. I guess the second half of May, I ended up picking up Hendrix by Kelsey Clayton. I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. This one is about our heroine. She has a daughter. She was in a relationship with our hero back in high school, I believe, or college. I believe it was high school. They were in a relationship. They were doing good, at least so she thought. She ends up getting pregnant, but he breaks up with her through a letter before she can tell him that she's pregnant. And so she doesn't tell him that she's pregnant with his child because she doesn't want to be a burden to him, because he's gonna go on to college and further to be a amazing football player, I believe. But then he, years later, he sees an interview where our heroine is doing an interview with her current man, which is an actor. She talks about her daughter, and then the hero does the math after watching the interview, and he's like, oh shit, that child possibly might be mine. He finds her, then they communicate, and it's just a lot. The reason why I did not like this was because I didn't believe the relationship. If the hero hadn't seen that interview, if he hadn't done the math in his head and assumed that the child was his, there is literally no other reason why he would be in a relationship with our heroine. There was nothing there for us to connect our hero and our heroine besides the child. And I felt like the hero, the way he broke up with her, the things he said in that letter, it just didn't justify it. And like, if you take away the child, there's nothing connecting them besides that they were once together in high school, but like he never thought of her. He never did anything. And I was like, when a secret baby is done like this, it's my least favorite, because I want to know that the hero and the heroine connect besides their connection with the child in question. You know what I mean? Hope that makes sense. Anyways, I gave it 2.5 stars. It wasn't my favorite. It was also a novella, so I take that with what you will. Then I ended up DNFing Chaos by Hilary Storm. I believe it was the writing for me. I just wasn't vibing with it. Then I picked up Promise Me Always by A.L. Jackson. This is the last book in the Redemption Hills series. I ended up giving it 4 stars. This is our heroine Tessa and our hero Milo's story. Usually give the books in this series 4.5 stars, rounded down to a 4, just because I don't like the way the children are portrayed in this series. But with this one, it's a solid 4-star, just because I did feel like the relationship was lagging a little bit for me. Like, it might have been the mindset or like how I was feeling with my reading at the time, but it was still a beautiful story. Milo is so damaged. He is struggling really hard. He is a single dad, which I loved. I hated seeing the way that he was being treated by the kids' grandparents, not on his side, but his deceased wife's side. I loved learning their stories. I loved seeing their connection, because the hero and the heroine always connect in some tragedy that like kind of brings them together, and I thought it was very well done. I was not expecting it. I love our heroine. She was just so sunshine to Milo's kind of grumpy. She really filled him up and brought him up and like just kind of filled his soul. And A.L. Jackson's writing is absolutely beautiful. I love her writing. It does get a little bit repetitive. I wish it wasn't too much as well in the smutty scenes, but you guys know it's still such a great series, and I think you guys should read it if it sounds like it's up your alley. And yeah, that's all I was left for that one. I don't think I said anything, but I said enough. So then I ended up picking up Legacy of Shadows by Tessa Hale. I gave this one 3.5 stars, rounded it up to a 4. I actually listened to this one as an audio book. I really enjoyed it. This is a reverse harem. I think I really enjoyed it because I listened to it, and I think the narrators did such a good job. I was able to differentiate between the heroes. I loved the plot of the story. Our heroine is just honestly going through it. She loses her dad, and therefore she loses her childhood best friend, which is Enza, is one of the heroes. Do I remember any of their names? No. But basically our hero and somebody else, another man that is part of this reverse harem, he comes with the hero. They rescue the heroine and they take her to basically like this school for paranormal magical creatures, and they just kind of get to know each other. There's a lot of things, information missing that you are wanting to find out, but I felt like I was entertained throughout the whole thing. I liked the heroine. I liked all the heroes. We obviously have the golden retriever hero. We have the grumpy hero. We have the childhood best friend. And the plot was good as well. The cliffhanger was not too cliffhangery, if that's a word. Like, it didn't leave me like shook. It didn't leave me like, oh my god, I need the second book like now, like yesterday. But I still am excited to read the second book. Then I ended up reading Liars Like Us by J.T. Geisinger. I gave this one 3.5 stars, rounded it up to a 4. I read King of Pride by Anna Huang. I gave this one 3.5 stars, rounded down to a 3. Those two books I actually did a reading vlog for. This is a new releases reading vlog. I will leave it up in the cards for you guys to check out. I did read a couple more books in that reading vlog, but those are on my June wrap up, so stay tuned for my June wrap up. But you might as well just go watch the new releases reading vlog. I think that one was very fun. It ends on a good note. But yeah, then I ended up reading Corruption by Jenica Snow. This is the second to last book in Jenica Snow's Mafia series. This one is our hero Ruin, or Kostya, I believe, and our heroine Anastasia. They are childhood best friends. This one I ended up giving 4 stars to. So basically our heroine, she is very sheltered. Like, she's not treated badly, but she's very sheltered, even though her family is like in the mafia. And then our hero, he grew up very basically damaged and tortured and physically abused, emotionally, mentally. All of that he goes through when he's a child makes him into the man that he is today. He is instantly like, this is like the one for me, like there will never ever be anybody else. But then our hero ends up getting sent away to learn how to fight in the underground fighting world. The heroine and the hero just kind of never see each other ever again until our heroine is set to marry somebody else that her father chose for her, and our hero learns about it, and this is when he comes back and steals our heroine, giving very much kind of Beauty and the Beast. He is absolutely obsessed with our heroine. Stalker, insta love, insta lust, the chemistry, the passion is all there. I absolutely love their story. It just wasn't a 4.5 or a 5 because we don't get that much of them being friends when they were younger, but we're supposed to believe their entire relationship is based off of the amount that we saw when they were younger, and it just didn't hit the way that I wanted it to. Like, I wanted to feel their emotional connection more, but with a lot of Jenica Snow's books, it's a very physical relationship with our characters. Sorry if you can hear that, that is my fridge. And yeah, I just wanted more from them. Emotionally, I wanted a deeper connection, but I still had such a great time. I love Jenica Snow's writing, and her smut is amazing, so I gave it 4 stars. And that was the last book that I read in the month of May. Let me know what your favorite book of May was. I know it's a little late, but let me know regardless. I would love to know. If you don't want to comment any of that, then go ahead and comment a flower emoji for May. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.